Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm here with Fiann, my boyfriend, who is obsessed with tea and will say something at some point.
I might.
I asked you guys to send him some questions about us, our relationship, him, who is he, where is he from, how did we meet, and I'm gonna be answering them all in between sips of tea. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, sorry, I've just realised what my mug says. It's slightly creeping me out. Anyway, carry on. Okay, so first question, how/where did you meet? I'll let you answer that one.
Okay, deferring. We met at university when I was at the end, well, kind of halfway through my first year at uni a while back. We started dating after about maybe 5 or 6 months of knowing each other, and to be fair, I did actually think Fiann was gay when we first met.
I get that a lot.
He's got quite the gay fan club, which I can see why.
I don't know, it's diminishing. I used to.
Yeah?
I think I'm doing something wrong.
Oh no.
They're deserting
showing me on your Instagram. I think that's
might
the
not be
problem.
helping, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to cut you out.
Actually, I first saw Fiann in the gym, and I'm not very good at flirting. So my issue is that when I think someone's good looking, I just tend to stare at them.
Bit creepy.
Which is exactly what happened. So Fiann was put off for the next 6 months. And then we started dating, and 4 and a bit years later, we are now here. Aren't you glad?
I am. Glad I finally gave in.
What is Fiann doing post-PhD? Well, do you want to explain your PhD and all that kind of stuff first, for anyone who doesn't know?
Yes, I presume most people probably don't know.
Yep.
It's...
My channel.
Exactly, yes. So I have just finished a PhD at Bristol Uni, where I've been for 8 years. I did my undergrad, masters, and then suffered on for a PhD there. And I am a paleontologist, so I study prehistory. Life before humans, essentially, is a good way of describing it.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs is the other way of describing it. Ross from Friends is the other way of describing it, which I get a lot, which I love and hate, mainly hate. No, I roll my eyes when I hear it, but at the same time, if he didn't exist, no one would know what a paleontologist was, so I kind of have to thank him for that. Sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, that or Jurassic Park are the only two things I can really reference that people will understand. So my PhD was in working out what colour extinct animals might have been through things like their preserved skin, feathers on dinosaurs, things like that, and then looking at the colour of those animals and working out what that can tell us about how they live their lives, so where they may have lived, how they may have behaved, how predators may have chased down their prey, and how prey may have hidden from predators and things like that. So that I've been doing for the last 4 years, and I've just finished that. Moving on into the future, I am having a break from academia now, and I'm doing a number of things. I am starting work as a freelance copy editor, so basically working for academic publishers, doing editing services for scientific manuscripts that might be from non-native English speakers, getting them ready for publication, that sort of thing. And I'm also starting my own business in something that I will keep secret for now because it's not announced.
Ooh,
and that's the next big step. So some of it is boring dry work, and some of it is exciting new prospects, which I will reveal more about in the future. And obviously when Fiann does that, I will be sharing it with you guys as well. Probably do an entire YouTube on it because I am a great girlfriend. And I want free advertising.
And Fiann wants free advertising. Okay, how do you manage a long distance relationship? Just give you some background. We were together for 2 years whilst we were both at Bristol, and then I left Bristol, Fiann was still there, so I moved to London.
Abandoned me.
I abandoned Fiann.
Not for the first time.
Not for the last. In Bristol, and I moved to London, and then we did basically another 2 years long distance then. And then when Fiann finished his PhD in
a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, I can't remember. A couple of months ago. When
Fiann finished his PhD, he moved down to Dorset, and now we both split our time between London and Dorset, so it's a little bit easier at the moment. For 2 years it was kind of difficult. It was especially difficult when I had a full-time job, I think, because I was working obviously 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, which meant that, you know, by the time you leave Friday evening, if you want to get these super off-peak trains, you have to leave past 7 PM, which means you don't arrive in Bristol at his house until past 10 PM, and then you can't travel back on Monday because you've got work, so you have to travel back Sunday evening, which I realise I'm probably just explaining most people's lives,
kind of,
but
yeah.
it was it was a little bit difficult, but I actually, having heard about some people who had their partners, you know, 4 or 5 hours away, or even the other side of the world, I realised actually London to Bristol is not that bad at all, and I'm pretty sure some people do that as a commute anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you do it regularly, it stops being an issue, really. It just becomes part and parcel of daily life. And even now, commuting between here and Dorset, between London and Dorset, about 3 hours, give or take, on a good day without rush hour traffic, etc. And it's quite a long time, but it doesn't really feel that bad. We're both good at entertaining ourselves on journeys. Podcasts get us through.
Podcasts, writing, you just learn how to like work on the journeys. The main issue actually for me for a very long time was being able to afford travelling. Train travel in the UK is obscene. Bristol to London is also the most expensive journey for its distance, I think.
Yeah, everyone wants to live in Bristol and work in London.
Yeah, exactly, because it's such a nice city. But it is bloody expensive, so I was getting the megabus, which costs a lot less, but also takes like over 3 hours, especially at rush hour. When I went part-time, I was doing 3.5 days a week. That made it a little bit easier, and then when I went freelance, it's actually a lot easier, although I do tend to base most of my weeks here and weekends out of London.
Yeah, but the most important thing, I think, having had previous long-term relationships that didn't end up working, I think why this one does work is because we both have very independent lives and we both have our own things that we enjoy doing and take up a huge amount of time. I know from personal experience and from seeing other people's that a lot of the problems arise when one person has loads to do and is really busy and the other person doesn't have as much to do and is kind of sitting around thinking, why can't I spend more time with my partner?
Yeah.
And then it gets,
you get some resentment as well. And
yeah, exactly.
All that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
sort of either overt or underlying resentment, and then things just brood and it gets more difficult. And we don't have that in the least, and I think it's because we both have very busy lives doing our own thing in our respective places, and so we're not just sitting there pining for one another with nothing to do. We're secretly pining at night, but generally we're busy doing our own thing, so that makes it bearable. Obviously it would be ideal to be able to live together and not have to do this, but you have to be pragmatic and realistic. And luckily we're both very good at letting each other indulge our passions and what it is we want to be doing, so neither of us are sort of selfishly being like, you must come and live with me for my career because I need to be based here, which I know a lot of people do, and I'm not saying that's necessarily selfish, of course, because for some people they have to move around there for their career and it's very difficult.
It would be difficult.
It would be very difficult, and I would never ask you, for example, to uproot for my sakes.
Yeah, Fiann has to do all his stuff basically based down in Dorset because that's where he finds the fossils that he has, and I mean that's like a massive part of his life. And then for me, with my blogging as well, it's kind of got to be London based because that's where all my events are, and shoots, castings, all that kind of stuff are all based around London. So whilst I can spend several days out of London at a time, I can't spend all of my time out of London. There are so many things that are last minute, it would just be quite tough. So I also think what helps is we're born in the right era. So, you know, when we are apart, which is, I'd say I see you maybe for like 4 or 5 days. Now it's really good actually. I see you for 4 or 5 days, every 10 days or 2 weeks or something like that. Maybe?
Yeah, we're not quite at 50% of the time yet, but
no, but it's still pretty good. Yeah. But when we're not together, we call each other a lot, basically. And I think what people forget is that like picking up the phone is so easy. You just message people and like getting messages, you know, being like, good morning, beautiful. Sure, that's really nice. No, not that Fiann ever says that to me.
I do love getting this.
But, you know, calling each other and actually hearing each other's voice, even though it's not the same as being together, can be a massive benefit. I think in, what are we now, 4 years and... a bit.
4 years, 3 months odd. 4.25 years, some might say.
Some.
I think we've had one day in that time where we didn't communicate with one another, and I think that's probably because one of us was the other side of the world and it was impossible.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which is pretty insane.
I was not keeping track like that.
You know, yeah, I've resented that one day ever since.
I'm so sorry.
Why do you think you didn't get a birthday present last year?
Oh my god, that's tragic.
Yeah. So that's been pretty, talking every day or as often as you can bear or can get away with is important, because again, from previous experience and also looking at other people's, if you go days without talking to one another, you can kind of, I don't know, people just tend to drift more if you don't communicate.
Yeah, agreed.
Communication is the most important thing.
I've done previous long distance relationships and they lasted about 3 months long distance, and that was the end of that. It also depends, like if you're not committed to it, I think the long distance can be the kind of straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's not the thing, but it is the last thing that eventually leads to a breakup.
Yeah, and it can exacerbate any other
Yes,
underlying issues that
because
might be
communication
there.
is everything.
Yeah, and the word you used earlier, resentment, was a very good one, because I definitely remember experiences of that where it kind of just gets worse when someone is assuming the other person is off having loads of fun and doing things, and the other party is maybe not where they want to be, not what they want to be doing, etc.
Yeah.
So
should we move on?
We make it work somehow.
We do.
Yes.
Have you taken inspiration from each other in training?
Yes. Mainly because you force me to exercise all the time.
That's not true. I literally met you in the gym, okay? So you can't blame it on me.
No, you do. Well, I do have to try and keep up with you, that's a definite. I definitely exercise more since I met you. I've always been an exerciser, I've always been a gymmer, but before I met you, I'd probably be a kind of, I've been to the gym twice this week, it's the end of the week, and I can't really be asked, so, sorry, I'll just not bother. Whereas now I tend to think, end of the week, I can't really be asked, but I must force myself up and get out there.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good thing.
I would say that Fiann has definitely, he does a lot more gym workouts than I do, so when I'm in Dorset, the fact that Fiann likes to go to the gym, you know, a certain number of times a week means that I will often go rather than just like going for a walk or something. I think we kind of push each other quite a lot, which is quite good.
Yeah, especially on things like outdoor exercise.
Yes.
So we do a lot of walking, hiking, running, biking, etc., especially when we're in the countryside, and I'm more inclined to do that when you're in the countryside with me than when I'm there by myself.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you like a companion. Everyone likes a companion.
So we went for a
15k?
15k run, hike, walk thing across some of the cliffs of the coast path down in Dorset a couple of weeks ago, which was beautiful and something I've always wanted to do, and I've lived down there for 30 odd years, and I've never actually done that by myself. But I've always wanted to, so it took you coming down and forcing me to do it.
Well, it's kind of like when you live in London, you never see all the sights of London until someone from outside of London actually comes and visits, and you're like, okay, I guess we should go and see the Tower of London at some point.
You've not shown me
We've
any
still
of
not seen the
London.
Tower of London.
No, I've been asking.
Yeah, it's boring. How do you handle disagreements / fights?
Well, this is another thing that continually shocks me about our relationship. Again, shocking on personal experience levels from previous relationships, is that we've never once had a fight.
Yeah.
And we very rarely disagree, and if we do,
We do disagree.
We disagree.
We just disagreed on that.
I disagree with anything you say, and then it makes life easier. I've learned that. Just be all submissive and always agree, and then everything will be fine.
No, everyone's gonna hate me.
No, you can disagree. Everyone disagrees, because if you don't,
It's boring.
It's boring, and also you have...
You're probably repressing something.
Yeah, and you would have an identical mindset, which is impossible. No two people can have a literally identical mindset in everything. You're always going to disagree on something, and we disagree amicably by discussing rather than arguing. I've got a bugbear with the term argument generally. I don't like the word argument. I'm a scientist, and scientific argumentation is more scientific discussion. You can argue things, but you want to discuss them. You don't want to just argue a point because that's what you think and everyone else is wrong. You want to discuss them and say why.
Yeah, why do you think the way you think? Like, what
or
is your
whatever.
mindset? Why are you framing this?
Plus, as you can hear, I'm shit at formulating an argument. So that doesn't help.
Can't even do a sentence. No, I disagree.
This is it. This is the first fight.
You guys started it. It's on record. No, I don't think we fight because both of us are quite conflict averse, but that doesn't mean that we don't disagree on things, I think. But it's mainly small things, and when you ask how we handle it, it's literally just like we talk about it and then we try and figure it out. Fiann's actually really good at apologising, much better than I am, so
it's much easier if you just say sorry for everything. You don't have to mean it.
Fiann's generally a better person than I am.
I'm basically the polar opposite to Donald Trump. He has essentially an inability to use the word sorry irrespective of what he's done, whereas I'm the opposite, and I say sorry for everything, even if I didn't do it.
You're English.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the classic. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to knock me over like that in that aggressive manner. Yeah, we disagree, but we disagree logically. We talk about it, and it's not like we suddenly say, well, you're a moron for thinking that way.
And also, it's harder disagreeing. If you're apart from each other and you disagree about something, that's where the calling people comes really in handy, because actually disagreeing over WhatsApp, text, whatever, is a really dangerous thing, and I think things can be said that you don't actually mean, and also things just come across totally wrong.
Yeah.
And like body language is really important, but even tone of voice when you're apart from each other, like you need to talk about things talk about things in general.
I was going to say, especially with things like sarcasm, but then I remembered that your sarcastic voice is the same as your real voice, so it's impossible to tell the difference.
Yeah, I know. I'm quite a sarcastic person. Will you move in together? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't plan on living apart from him forever. Long distance for life.
It's the goal.
It is the goal.
It's essentially kind of our combined next major life goal is to find a place we can live together. Like generally everyone has like sort of big steps in life that you want to get to this stage. Like for me, example, it was finishing my master's, then finishing my PhD, then getting specific work after my PhD. The next step for me is for us to find a place to live together.
Yeah. So to be able to afford a house, which will obviously not be in London.
Or anywhere in the UK or Western or Northern Hemisphere, probably.
Great. So we are moving to Central Africa or Southeast Asia.
I would actually be absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, I would love that.
We were discussing our favourite meals yesterday because of a podcast, and I realised all my favourite meals come from Southeast Asia, so we're just going to
I'm the same. Okay, great.
Great, right, so we're moving to Thailand tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Solves that one. I don't think I can even afford a place there, to be honest.
Anyway, fur babies or real babies? I don't know if that's... Would you prefer fur babies or real babies?
If you can see how hairy I am, I think real babies will be fur babies anyway.
God, yeah. Same, actually. I've got quite a lot of hair. Fur babies, always. But we don't have any fur babies or real babies. I think that'll be hard to keep that one secret.
That's the next one. After house, it's...
Fur babies,
pets.
Not real babies.
Not real babies.
A dog and a cat, and then another dog, and then another cat, and then a horse.
I think we need to make it fair and do it by weight. So if you get...
No!
Flora, this is where we... Probably the biggest area we disagree on is Flora's a dog person, I'm a cat person.
Yeah.
Which you'd think it would never work, but I say it's fair if you get your dog, I can get an equal weight of cats.
My dog's going to be very, very thin.
Are you going to get a toy poodle?
I'm going to get an Italian greyhound. It's fine because you don't know what that means.
You're going by mass there. It's big, but it's got a low
No,
mass,
they're small. You don't know your dog breeds.
No, I don't. I thought greyhounds were big.
No, Italian greyhounds are small.
They're like whippets?
Yes, but smaller.
Okay, so what do they weigh?
Nothing.
So I can have no cats. Right, I'll get Schrodinger's cat.
Oh god, okay.
People get.
No, niche. Real babies at some point, not anytime soon.
Fur babies first.
A lot of fur babies first. Just you wait, there's going to be multiple Instagram accounts for them.
Also, you got it on camera the first time I've ever used that phrase.
Fur babies. Yeah. Oh god, I'm so sorry.
don't consider myself a millennial.
How does it impact each of you when the other one is training hard for an event? I think we can probably expand this to just working hard in any capacity.
I was going to say, otherwise we'll just expand it to how does Fiann cope when Flora is training hard for an event? Because
Fiann doesn't really do like...
event. I work out sort of for myself, not for competition's sake or to achieve major goals or anything. I work out for general mental and physical health, and because I like the idea of getting fitter the older I get. I like the paradox of being the fittest I am when I'm the oldest I am. I feel like might come to a head at some point, but...
Maybe, 100 years old and doing ultras.
Yeah, why not?
Well, yeah, how does it impact you when I'm training for... It doesn't really, does it?
No, again, goes back to because we both have our own very independent lives and things we do. It's just if one person is working particularly hard, so for example, towards the end of my PhD, I was working especially hard trying to finish the damn thing.
Yeah.
And before your marathon, you were doing lots of training, and then you had to fly out there to do it. And when you're doing your boxing, you're training more. And generally, because we both have so much going on outside of one another, we just work harder at the other things we do. Yeah. Neither of us have the capacity to be bored.
No, that's true. Both of us are doing a lot of stuff. And when Fiann was finishing both his masters and also when he was finishing his PhD, he was pretty busy. I mean, busy to the point that I would sort of... It would be better for me to stay here in London and actually just get on with my stuff rather than going to Bristol and making him do his work less, but also not being able to give me full attention.
That's what it's really all about.
Yeah, I'm a massive attention seeker.
Just sit there.
I'm just very needy. I am very, very needy, especially in relationships, I think, probably. When I'm with you, at least. When I'm by myself, I'm fine. But no, I think when he was finishing his thesis, I was just sort of spending more time here, getting on with some of my own work. It wasn't really a massive issue. In terms of the actual training, like when I had to do particular training sessions, when we go to the gym, this is actually one of the other questions. It says, do you prefer to train together or apart? Well, when I was going to the gym for all my training for various things, we both would go to the gym together, but up until literally today, I don't think we've ever done a training session together other than running.
Unless it's a class or something where you all have to do the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Which would be really rare. It's the first time we've, done a non-organised workout where we both did the same thing in a gym.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
a bloody nightmare.
It wasn't too bad. We will go to the gym together, but we won't train together.
Yeah. We have different
Training
we have
goals.
different training goals and
Methods.
yeah, and just general different physiologies and physiques,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore it would be kind of impossible to do the same training all the time.
But when it comes to running, I would much rather run with Fiann than by myself.
That's the difference. Again, like outdoor exercise, so yeah, hiking, running, that sort of thing is more fun to do generally with another person, we both find. Whereas in the gym, I kind of get into my own headspace in the gym, put my headphones on, and I like to focus on what I'm doing, and actually I find it quite distracting to be constantly taking headphones off and having to discuss things, or moving around to different parts of the gym to do different exercises and things like that. If I'm not in my own space, I kind of know where I am and I get set up, so that's my own personal way of working out. But on things like runs and that, it's much more fun to do it together.
Yeah, great.
So variety.
Yeah. How do you help? I thought this was quite a good question actually, because I think probably a lot of people...
As opposed to the previous one.
Yeah, sorry everyone else, they're all crap. No, just joking. How do you help a partner's mental health if they're struggling?
You just offer them all the support, help and comfort they might need, and just being there generally, I think is the most important thing. So again, going back to we talk, we chat every day, at least once, although normally thousands of times. So we're always communicating, we're always aware of one another, we're always ready instantly to tell one another if we are having a problem, if we're feeling low mentally for any reason. We won't keep that from one another generally. And because we've both had fairly extended periods of our lives where we've gone through our own mental health things, manifesting in different ways and caused by different things, and because of that we've got very useful experience in what it feels like, so what one another might be feeling like at one time and what helps and what doesn't help. So we know when to proactively try and pull one another up and out of it, or when you just need to sort of get things sorted in your own head. So I think that's very handy that we know.
Yeah, you can
from
empathise.
Experience. Exactly. Empathise and find practical solutions through personal experience. We're very lucky, to be quite honest, that these days we rarely have bouts of low mental health. I think that is in a major part because we have one another and support one another.
Yeah.
I think, you know, prevention is better than cure.
Yeah, agreed.
If you can keep each other.
Yeah, although that's been within the time that we've been together, really. Because I would say I suffered from poor mental health from the age of 11 until 21, 20, maybe. 20 probably. And yeah, we were already together by that point, so I think it was kind of like helped also by being in the right relationship, because I've had partners before who have been, you know, so much fun, but I haven't felt like I've been able to actually talk to them about mental health issues, because I didn't feel like they actually understood or could help, or I felt like it was a burden, which of course is like a symptom of poor mental health.
I would say alarm bell should ring if you're in a relationship where you feel like you can't talk to your partner about these things. I think it's very important to be able to communicate with one. And again, speaking from personal experience where I've had previous relationships where I felt like I couldn't talk to my partner, and I was probably right in that. I don't think they would have supported me or understood necessarily. But yeah, it's very personal and dependent on how an individual responds to these sort of things. But we support one another. Yeah,
I think, as you said, prevention rather than cure, if you can. Being in the right relationship definitely helps.
Exactly. And you know, you can never say you're not going to have bouts of low mental health.
Definitely,
and ebbs and flows. So I'm not going to say, you know, we're both ecstatically happy now until the day we die. I'm sure we'll both go through our own things. And who knows what will cause that and how it will manifest itself. But day to day, we keep each other going.
We're pretty happy, I think.
And doing something you really enjoy helps.
Yeah, definitely.
We're both in good places in our lives outside of one another as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I don't think we rely on each other to keep the other one happy. Like someone said once, like, I think it's quite a selfish thing to do, to rely on your partner to keep you happy, or vice versa, or think that your partner relies on you to keep them happy, because that means that they learn none of the skills themselves to, you know, keep themselves mentally sound. And it's important, because if the other person isn't around anymore for whatever reason, then you lose that sense of stability, and I think that's a really dangerous position to be in. So I mean, kind of thankfully, in a way, in a kind of perverse way, we both went through our own issues and started to get out of them when we were not together. You learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right, and we are both sort of ironically staunchly independent, yet codependent on one another. Not codependent, that's the wrong phrase, but we're both very good at dealing with things ourselves and
as well as
spending
helping
time
each
with
other.
ourselves as well as others, which is a pretty handy combination, I'd say.
Yeah. 2 last things. Do you compete in training?
There's no point.
That's so not true. Fiann does this annoying thing where he pretends that he's really bad at something.
No, I mean, there's no point in you competing.
Oh, okay, my bad. I see how it is.
Let's be honest about it.
I take it back. No, Fiann does this thing where he pretends he's really bad, and then we'll just be like, I'm just popping out for a 20-kilometer run, and then come back and be like, that was fun.
No, I come back crawling on the floor, hallucinating through dehydration, saying I'm never going to do exercise again.
Yeah, and then he does it well, and it's really annoying. Especially as I spend like a lot of my time doing running, and Fiann doesn't that much.
No. But you are incomparably competitive compared to me.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm not competitive.
I was wondering where that was going. Yeah, I'm very competitive.
You are very competitive.
I think it comes from being in a family with a lot of people in it, 3 sisters, all very close in age. So yeah, we always have competed, whereas Fiann is super chilled. You're very chilled.
I'm very happy. I can take it as it comes, and if I'm not the best at something, hey ho.
But you usually are, which is the annoying thing.
No,
it's really irritating.
I'm never the best at anything, but I can normally turn my hand to lots of things and be decent at it. But I think that comes from being staunchly determined that when I do something, I want to be good at it just because I think it's good to put your all into things. Not in a competitive sense, not like I want to be the best at this, but I think if you're going to do something, do it right. You do know that a lot of people put their all into things and still aren't very good. So that's slightly rude to those people. Well, I'm also not very good at certain things that I put my all into.
Okay, fine.
I tend to just stick to the things that I know if I put my all into it, something decent will come out.
Yeah, yes. Fair. Who does most of the cooking when we're together?
Ooh.
I have an answer for this. Do you want to say yours?
What if I don't have an answer?
I'll say mine.
Okay.
I think, I might be wrong, it depends where we are. Because when we're at Fiann's place, it tends to be Fiann or his family who do the cooking. And when we're here, it tends to be me that sorts out the food. Mm-hmm. Just because we know the kitchens, we know what food we have.
Yeah, and it's kind of an unspoken thing that it just feels politer to cook for your guest.
Yeah, though we can hardly say guest after 4 years.
No, but you still...
Welcome to my abode.
Yeah, until you share a house that you've kind of both mutually...
bought and put things into and stuff.
Well, rent, even if you're renting, that's fine. But if you've both chosen a place and it's sort of this is your shared space, then that's different to I live here. Do you want to come and live with me? That always feels a bit like then you are the more responsible for the person who's come and is a guest of sorts, a squatter. Yeah,
you're the squatter.
Someone that just never bloody leaves.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
But yeah, we both cook.
Yeah, we do. We both love cooking, don't we?
We do. We both love food.
We both love food. Obsessed. Okay, I think that's us done.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Are you happy with that?
Ecstatic.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to say? Plug yourself.
No, I was going to say this is the point on a podcast where you suddenly plug like a product or a tour you're going on or something like that.
Plug yourself. Go on.
Okay, check out my Instagram at FMSFossils, where you can get lots of
FMS.fossils.
At FMS.fossils. Where you can get all the information you could ever want about fossils and prehistory and dinosaurs, and to be honest, at the moment, like 50% what you're doing. Yeah, it is true. And come and check me out on Instagram. Hopefully you already do. Follow me at Flora. And if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, please don't give it a thumbs down. Please. Just hold in your frustration and just let it boil over and... Yeah, take it out somewhere else. Exactly, yeah. It's much healthier. Very healthy. Okay, I will see you next time. Goodbye!